Hey, what's up guys? In this video we're going to be talking about the best builds for every single character. Now, I know this video is kind of long and you can skip through it to the characters that you guys want, but please listen to the intro so that I can clarify some things. First of all, the purpose of this video is going to be to say the best artifact sets on every character, and I'm also going to try to talk about stats. So like I'll say what the best stat is, and then I'll say prioritize attack percent or prioritize energy recharge and what goblet you should be using, just so you guys know how to build every single character. I did a lot of research on everyone. I joined a bunch of Discords, Reddit, talked to a bunch of mains, and from my experience, so I tried to find the best possible sets on every character. But note that sometimes there may be other options that are viable, but I just tried to give you guys the best ones. We're going to be talking about artifact sets and stats, and I'm going to make timestamps so you guys can see on the YouTube bar. If you guys want to skip to a specific character, you can do that. Oh, and I had a lot of trouble deciding how I was going to organize this video. What I decided to do is just to make it element based. So what we're going to do is going to do like all pyro characters first, and hydro, electro, and so on and so forth. So I hope you guys enjoyed. This video might be a bit long, but it took me so much time to research to make sure I didn't get any, to make sure I got every information right. Honestly, I didn't want to provide any misinformation, and I really wanted to educate myself on every single character. So if you enjoyed, obviously liking helps me out. Also, I stream on Twitch like every night. If you guys want to watch, link will be in the description. I'm going to be streaming tonight. So yeah, without further ado guys, let's get right into the video. So for Diluc, what you want is the Crimson Witch of Flame set. It's the best set on him by far. And the stats you want on him are crit rate, crit damage, and a pyro damage goblet. So your circlet should be crit rate or crit damage, and then the others are all attack with ideally crit rate and damage substats. Alright, so for Bennett, the best set is the Noblesse Oblige set. It's so good on him because it gives your party members even more attack when you use your elemental burst. Really, really nice on Bennett. Another decent set I've seen people run is the Maidens, if you're just running him as like a heal bot, but I think Noblesse is just better. And then the stat priority on him is definitely energy recharge, so look for that in your sands. And for the goblet, you want HP, and then healing bonus on the circlet. And we talked about this in my Bennett guide. If you need more information, go watch my Bennett video. But basically for maximizing healing, and you'll see me talk about this on other characters, you want HP on the goblet, healing bonus on the circlet, and then just maximize the energy recharge wherever you can. Now for Xiangling, if you're running her as a support or a DPS, your build will change. For a support Xiangling, you're going to want a 4-piece of the Noblesse set to give your party members increased attack. And if you're running her as a DPS, you can run either the Glad set, which gives you much more damage when you're using a polearm. So this could be a good option for a DPS. Or I've seen people use the Lava Walker set on her, which does, let me find it, which increases your damage against enemies affected by Pyro by 35%. And since you're spamming your E and your Q, your Gooba and your Pyronado, enemies will pretty much always be affected by Pyro. But for DPS Xiangling, the best set is 2-piece Glad with 2-piece Bloodstained. For Xiangling's Goblet, Pyro damage is usually the way to go, but if you're running her as a physical damage dealer, as your main physical DPS, you can run a physical damage Goblet. Now as a support character, you want to maximize energy recharge on her and attack percent, but if you're running her as a physical DPS, you want to be prioritizing crit and attack. Now, I personally don't have Klee, but there are many sets you can run on her. You can run the Wanderers or Bloodstained if you want charge attack damage, which is really good on her. You could run Crimson Witch of Flames, or even 2-piece Crimson with 2-piece Glad, and you can also run full Lava Walker if you want. But since you are charge attack spamming, I think Wanderers and Bloodstained, especially Wanderers, is really good on her. For Amber, the best set for DPS is probably the Wanderer's Troop 4-piece, because you can increase your charge attack damage by a lot, so you can spam charge attack on Amber. Another decent set is a 2-piece of the Witches set, and you can run that with like a 2-piece Gladiator. And obviously you can also run Noblesse if you want to use her like that. But yeah, so for like a Pyro support, you can run Noblesse or this 2-piece Pyro with something else. And for like charge shot DPS, Wanderer's Troop 4-piece is very nice. And for the Goblet, you can run a Pyro damage bonus if you're running her as like a Pyro damage support, or you can run attack percent if you are doing a charge shot build. So for Tartaglia, also known as Childe, I've made so many videos on this guy that you guys should know my stats on this, but the best artifact set, just period, is the Retracing Bolide if you can run a Geo support with him, or someone that can make a shield that can keep him shielded. Now, if you can't do that, or you don't want to spend resin into it, because a Hydro set might be coming out, that's fair. So for now, what you can do is you can run a 2-piece Noblesse, which is very, very nice. And you can pair that with another 2-piece set, such as Gladiator or such as Wanderer's Troop. A set that's even better than that, though, for overall consistent damage is either the 4-piece of Wanderer to get this nice charge attack damage, or the 4-piece of Thunder Soother if you're running Electro supports with him. Something like a Fischl and a Beidou would be really nice together if you are running Thunder Soother. But this doesn't work against like slimes and stuff, so it's very situational. But overall, Bolide's the best. If you don't want to spend your resin on that, you can use Noblesse 2-piece or the 4-piece of Wanderers. And obviously, as I mentioned, Thunder Soother. Now, in terms of stats, this is pretty straightforward. You want to build them like a DPS. So crit rate or crit damage is going to be your priority on substats and main stat for Circlet. Attack is also very nice. Energy recharge is okay, but you don't need it. And then for Goblet, Hydro damage is a must. It's really what you need on Childe. So for Barbara, obviously the best set is the Maiden Beloved. You want to get the 4-piece if you can. It'll just increase your healing by a ton. And the way you want to build her is healing bonus on the circlet to maximize healing, and then HP on everything else. So your goblet should be an HP goblet. And just, yeah, look for HP and healing bonus on the circlet. So for Xinqiu, the set you want is the Noblesse Oblige set. You want the 4-piece because it's really nice for a support character. And the main stat / substat you're going to be going for is energy recharge. So you can look for that on your hourglass. And then for your goblet, you're going to want a hydro damage bonus. Alright guys, now for Mona, who I unfortunately don't have despite really wanting her, the best artifact set is Noblesse Oblige because her elemental burst does so much damage. You really want that Noblesse Oblige, and especially as support, you want to run that 4-piece. Now if you're running her as a DPS, eventually when the Hydro set comes out, you could run 2-piece Hydro with 2-piece Noblesse, but for now, Noblesse does seem to be the best set on her. In terms of stats, maximize energy recharge, attack percent is nice too, and for your goblet, you want that Hydro damage bonus. Alright, now the character I've been the most scared to talk about is Keqing, for sure. Because there's just such a cult around her, and I really want to make sure not to say any misinformation because so many people love her, and there's so many different ways to build her. Honestly, she's really complex because you can either go physical damage, electro damage. There's just a bunch of artifact sets that work for her, so I'm going to try to be comprehensive in this section. But if you guys need more of a detailed guide, be sure to check out the Keqing main Discord because I have a bunch of useful resources for Keqing. Now, she can be built either physical damage or electro damage, and one of the reasons for this is because her E, Stellar Restoration, which is her elemental skill, has basically 2 ways to proc it. Basically, if you double tap the E, all your auto attacks, all your normal attacks will become electro damage. But if you just use it once and then charge attack, your damage will stay physical. That being said, let's talk about the different artifact sets you guys can run on Keqing. So for this electro damage build, I'm going to give you guys the artifact sets you can use. You can either use 2-piece Thundering Fury with 2-piece Glad, or you can also do 2-piece Noblesse with 2-piece Thundering Fury, because the 2-piece sets of these are very nice. You can also go a full 4-piece Thundering Fury, which just means you have to grind this domain a lot longer. So 4-piece Thundering Fury for Electro Keqing is very good too, probably the best set for Electro. Personally, I don't really have a good 4-piece, so I'm just running 2-piece, but you can run that 4-piece for Electro Keqing. And the stats you want are obviously crit damage and crit rate on just about everything. And if your build is focused primarily on Electro damage, be sure to get Electro damage bonus as your goblet. Now for a physical damage Keqing build, there are many different sets you can run. I personally have a good Bloodstain set, so that's what I'm using. The 2-piece gives you physical damage bonus, and the 4-piece gives you charge attack damage. So this is a very nice option. Another good and arguably better option is Thunder Soother. You can run the 4-piece. 2-piece is useless, but 4-piece increases your damage against enemies affected by Electro by 35%. So actually insane. This will just give you a ton more damage against most enemies. It just doesn't really work well against like slimes and stuff. But this is really nice, especially against like solo bosses, whereas Bloodstained Chivalry is really nice, especially against mobs of enemies, especially Abyss, because what you can do is you can kill a small enemy, and then you'll have your charge attack damage. It'll cost no stamina, and it'll be increased. So you can just spam charge attacks on all the mobs. Another viable option is 2-piece Bloodstained with 2-piece Glad, or even a 4-piece Bolide set, which is my favorite set in the game. I love it. And you can run this if you have a shield user, especially someone with like Petra that can give you a nice buffed shield. And obviously for physical damage, you do want that physical damage bonus on your goblet. It's a must. And be sure if you're running physical to only tap your E once and then charge attack so that your auto attacks are not converted into electro damage. But yeah, a ton of ways to build her. If you have questions, leave a comment, and you could also check the Keqing main Discord because it gives you way more information than I can in this video about every character and not just Keqing. Now for a DPS Razor, guys, the best set in the game is a 4-piece Glad. It increases your damage, the attack damage of a Claymore user, so it's very, very nice on Razor. Now other good sets include the 2-piece of Bloodstained. You can run that if you want, with like a 2-piece Glad or something. Those are pretty good. And I've also seen some electro damage builds of Razor with Thundering Fury, especially like the 2-piece. Or you can also run Thunder Soother on him, the 4-piece, because you do affect enemies by electro by a lot, so that works too. But overall, DPS wise, 4-piece Glad is very, very nice. In terms of the stats you want on Razor, since it's going to be your main DPS, you do want stuff like crit rate or crit damage, and attack percent on like your hourglass and stuff is good too. For the goblet, it depends. I know that at higher constellations, I've seen people run Electro Razor, in which case you want Electro Goblet. But for the most part, Razor is usually run as a physical damage dealer, in which case you want a physical damage goblet. But this obviously depends on how you're building him. So for Fischl, you can either run support or DPS. If you guys are confused, I made an in-depth Fischl guide. You guys can go check that out. But I run her support with the 4-piece Thundering Fury. It's the best set for support because it'll buff your overload. And the way she works is you want to maximize attack and crit stats over Elemental Mastery. Elemental Mastery isn't bad on her, but because all of her stuff scales on attack and Oz attacks and stuff, you want to be maxing attack and crit, especially because Oz can crit. So crit rate or crit damage on the circlet. Obviously, a goblet, you want electro damage bonus. And yeah, just maximize attack and crit on your substats. Now, if you're running her as a main DPS, your goblet, if you're doing mainly physical damage, you can run the physical damage bonus. You can also make her electro or just run attack because a lot of her damage is mixed. So it really depends on your build, but if you're running like a rust build or a compound bow physical damage build, then definitely physical damage on the goblet. But the best artifact sets when you're running DPS Fischl are something like a 2-piece bloodstain can be really nice, paired with like a 2-piece gladiator. Something else you can run on Fischl is a 4-piece thunder soother if you want to increase your damage by enemies affected by electro. Okay, now let's talk about Beidou, however you want to say her name. So for DPS Beidou, you want a 4-piece glad set because it gives you just a bunch of damage on your, since you're a sword user. Very nice on her. And you're going to want to maximize attack percent and crit, and your goblet will be a electro damage. Where is it? Electro damage bonus. Now for a support Beidou, which is what I usually prefer, what you want is a 2-piece of Glad and a 2-piece of the Thundering Fury set. So you'll get that 15% electro damage bonus, and you'll get the 18% attack from the Glad. The stats you want are, you want to prioritize energy recharge, so on your substats, on your sands, all that. And for the goblet, you can either go electro damage bonus, as we saw with the DPS build, or you can go attack percent. Now for Lisa, the set you're going to want to run is a 4-piece noblesse because it's just really nice on support characters, as we've established. And the way you want to build her is you want to maximize energy recharge and elemental mastery. So both of these are great because she's an elemental reaction support. She's going to be proccing overload and all that stuff. And the main thing that makes her good is if you ascend her to level 60 out of 70, right? So ascend her past level 60, you get to reduce enemies' defense when they're hit by lightning rose, which is your ultimate. So because of that, you want a lot of energy recharge, and then the rest is going to be elemental mastery. So what that means is your sands, you want something that has energy recharge on it, and for your goblet, electro damage is the best. Alright, so for Qiqi, I would recommend the 4-piece Maiden Beloved just because of how much healing she can output. I've seen people run 2-piece Maiden with like 2-piece Glad, and like that's okay, but I like to just maximize her healing, so 4-piece Maiden is a way to go. Now in terms of stats, you want to prioritize attack and energy recharge because her healing scales off of attack, and her ultimate ability, her elemental burst, is amazing, so energy recharge is very, very nice on substats. For the sands, I would go for attack over energy recharge. I don't have a good attack one, but I think attack is probably better than energy recharge, especially if you can get a good energy recharge substat on it. And then for goblet, attack percent is very nice. And for circlet, you can run either attack or healing bonus. I would recommend healing bonus if you can get it, just to make her like that much better for healing. So for Kaeya, obviously you're going to want to run the best support set in the game, which is Noblesse, as you guys can tell. The 4-piece of this is great on him. I've seen some instructor Kaeya builds. The 4-piece can work if you want to give your team elemental mastery. And what you want to maximize on him is if you're going for like a secondary DPS, especially if you have like Constellation 2 or more, you can get like attack percent and crit rate. You can build like a crit Kaeya with attack and stuff, but definitely try to maximize energy recharge on support Kaeya. For Goblet on Kaeya, cryo damage should be the best one because all of your damage does come from your cryo abilities. So for Chongyun, you can either build him DPS or support, and as you guys can probably tell by now, the Noblesse set is kind of broken, so I recommend it on a lot of support characters, and Chongyun is no different. So you want to run the 4-piece Noblesse set on a support Chong, because it's just really good on him, and according to my research, apparently DPS Chongyun wants Noblesse as well, so this is something you can run on him. And it's probably something you'll run on him until the eventual cryo set comes out. But no matter how you're building him, you want to get cryo damage on the goblet and then just maximize crit and attack. For Diona, guys, it's a lot like some of the other alt bots like Bennett and stuff. You want to run energy recharge on her. That's what you're going to prioritize, what you're going to go for in the sands and substats. The best set on her is the 4-piece Maiden Beloved. You're going to be running the set that I have on my cheat sheet right now, but you're going to run Maiden Beloved, and you can also run Noblesse if you want, but I really like Maidens. And if you're trying to maximize healing, we've been over this in my Bennett video, but you want healing bonus as a circlet, and for the goblet, for maximizing healing only, you want the HP one. So HP on the goblet, and then healing bonus on the circlet if you're going for a pure healer build, and you can do that with the Maiden Beloved set. Now for Sucrose, the artifact set that you want her is the Viridescent Venerer set. Very, very nice. It's one of the best sets in the game. So you need this on your Anemo support, supports like Sucrose. So yeah, that's what you want. And you're going to want to maximize Elemental Mastery on Sucrose because of the way her talents work. Alright, so for Venti, guys, the set you really, really want is the Viridescent Venerer set. It isn't even up for debate, just an amazing set for Anemo characters. But for the stats, it is a bit confusing. So for the Goblet, I'm always going to recommend Anemo damage bonus. I just think it's great on Anemo characters. However, also this is an amazing artifact for Zhao. I just wanted to flex this in the video. However, there's a pretty big debate on Elemental Mastery versus Attack right now. Even I joined like the Venti main Discord. I was doing a lot of research on which one's better, and there's just a bunch of number crunching without like a definitive conclusion. So I would say Attack and Elemental Mastery are both good on Venti, and it depends on the situation. Like Elemental Mastery can be good against clumps of enemies for that big reaction damage on the swirl, although swirl doesn't scale that well in general. So overall, what I would recommend is Anemo damage goblet, and then you want energy recharge on Venti to be getting your ultimate a bunch. However, you do already have a lot, especially with your level 70 Ascension talent. So I would focus on attack and elemental mastery, or at least one of the two. So for Jean, the best artifact set is either 4-piece Viridescent Venerer or 4-piece Noblesse Oblige. I am a big fan of the Viridescent set because the 4-piece just gives you so much damage. So for Anemo characters, so I really like Viridescent on her, but Noblesse works too. The way you want to prioritize her stats is basically you want her to be proccing her elemental burst as often as possible. So energy recharge is very important, especially on like sands or substats. Attack percent, very nice for the goblet. And then you want healing bonus percent on the circlet if you can. Very nice for Jean. And if you're running her as a main DPS for like early game or something, you can do Glad or 2-piece Bloodstained, but I would recommend building her as a support. For a main character, if you're running her on Anemo, you clearly want the 4-piece Viridescent set because it's just so good for Anemo characters. And what you want is Anemo damage on your goblet and attack percent everywhere else. And energy recharge is really nice too. Now for GeoMC, you want a 4-piece of the Petra set just to get that crystallized reaction, but this is one of the few characters that I don't use, so I can't really give you more information than that. But 4-piece Petra, and you can run like attack percent and geo damage on the goblet. For Ningguang, you want ideally 2-piece Petra and 2-piece Glad for a lot of damage. You can also run a Bolide set if you want on her. That can also work, a 4-piece. But I'm running 2-piece Petra with 2-piece Glad, and the stats you want on her are the same as most DPSs, just run crit damage and crit rate, and for your goblet, you want that geo damage bonus. Now, if you're running her as a support character for someone with a Bolide set, and you want to run that 4-piece Petra, it can work, and that's another way of running her as a support character. But for DPS, 2-piece Petra, 2-piece Glad, or Bolide. Alright, for Noelle guys, if you're building her a DPS Noelle, you want to get the Retracing Bolide set, the 4-piece. Very nice for DPS Noelle, the best one by far. And the way you want to build her is maximize defense on everything. Now, if you're running her as a support healer, you can maximize your healing by running the Maiden Beloved set, while still maximizing defense, of course. With the Maiden Beloved set. Now for support, healer Noelle, you do want the defense percent on the goblet. If you're running her DPS, defense can work, but the best one is geo damage. It's just more damage overall, although C6 Noelle does have her defense converted into attack, but geo damage is better for DPS Noelle. Another build for support Noelle is you can run a 4-piece Petra, and this is good, especially if you're running like a child with Bolide like I am. You can use Noelle to pick up that crystal and give him that damage bonus with the Petra set. But overall, Bolide for DPS and Maidens for healer is what you're going to want to run on Noelle. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. It took so long to make. Honestly, it was one of the longest videos to make because I had to research every single character to make sure I was giving you guys accurate information because that's what I'm all about. I hope you guys didn't mind how long the video was. That being said, I want you guys to know that I do stream a lot on Twitch. I stream most nights, so come check me out if you guys want. You can join the community Discord. And obviously, I don't want to be that one YouTuber that asks for likes, but this video took so long that if you want to like it, you know, it helps me out. And I read every comment, so if you have any questions, concerns, if I missed an artifact set, if you have, if you have feedback, just let me know. So yeah, that about sums it up. I really hope you guys enjoyed. Subscribe if you want to. If you don't, that's okay too. And I'll catch you guys in the next one. See you.